Hello, lovely people. New adventure unlocked. I'm headed to the next game. My mama's here. We're going to Aqua Zumba. I am getting out of my comfort zone. I am trying fencing today. Da, 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 da. I'm just there for the vibes. I know nothing about baseball. I'm there for the vibes. Hello, lovely people. Listen, I am trying to knock out this review. I am back for episode 5 of season 1, episode 5 of Divorced Sisters. Listen, I'm still feeling under the weather, but I'm doing the best that I can. This episode was really, really good. Also, I really want to apologize for my audio. I broke my mic not too long ago, so I really need to get another one. And I'm trying to figure out what's the best mic. I got one, and then I found out I got the wrong one, so I don't want to keep getting the mic and then having to return it and stuff like that. So I'm trying my best. So I apologize for the audio. So I realized when I played it back, when I talk loud, it's an echo. So I'm gonna try to not talk as loud. Anyway, so we are back with Tiffany and Geneva, and they are at the jail. And I'm really frustrated with Geneva right now because Geneva, you are being a terrible friend. Tiffany is coming to Geneva and it's like, hey girl, how come you've never told me about this guy? Like, he seems like a great guy. She's like, oh, well, I don't know. There was nothing to tell because he was married. And she's like, okay, well, what was his wife like? And Geneva is like, I don't know. She seemed nice. And Tiffany's like, is there anything that I need to know about him? Now, as a friend, I'm like, girl, yes. Listen, let me tell you what's going on. I used to mess with this dude behind William's back, and now he's trying to really get with me, but he's really trying to make me jealous by getting with you, girl. I'm so sorry. So that was the opportunity for Geneva to just spill it, girl, spill everything, but she didn't. She was like, oh, well, you're just going to have to ask him. How Geneva is cornering Tiffany. She's saying to Tiffany, yes, there's something about him that you might need to know, but I'm not going to tell you. And she goes, oh, just be careful. So Tiffany's like, okay, if I was Tiffany, I would have cussed Geneva out. Like, you're supposed to be my girlfriend. There's something going on with this dude and you're not telling me. What kind of friend are you? So Tiffany's like, all right, I'm just going to have to ask Rashida. Ugh, Rashida doesn't know anything. So do you want me to find out something about this dude or do you not? Which one is it? You're not being a friend right now. She's breaking all kinds of girl code. You're not even giving Tiffany the option to bow out of this situation. So she's like, okay, well, Rashida doesn't know anything. Okay, but then you're also telling her that there's something that she needs to be careful of. Like, who's your loyalty to? Who are you protecting? I mean, obviously we know she's protecting herself, right? Now, again, I really feel bad for Bridget. I feel like she just gets dismissed because Bridget calls Tiffany and Tiffany is like, hey, we're still waiting for Naomi. And then Bridget's like, okay, well, I'm gonna come over there. And she's like, no, you don't need to, right? Then of course, Javon is in the background. He's talking to his colleague. And then Bridget's like, hey, what's going on? It's like, oh, Naomi's actually coming out. And Bridget's like, okay, well, I'll meet you at the house, right? I feel like Bridget just gets dismissed. Again, she's like the help. So I feel like she gets treated less than. That's just my interpretation. What do y'all think? Anyway. So then you got Bridget and Vaughn. Of course, Vaughn is sleeping. It's whatever time it is. And Bridget is getting ready for work. And Bridget gets off the phone with Tiffany. And Bridget looks at Vaughn and she's like, what am I doing? She's like, a bunch of foolishness. So of course that wakes Vaughn up. He's upset because Bridget is talking on the phone loudly because he's trying to get his beauty rest. What a bum. Did I say how much I can't stand Vaughn? Anyway, so Bridget is like, look, you need to get up. You need to get a job. And Vaughn is like, oh, you sound like my mama. Well, technically, she is like your mama. Anyway, so Calvin comes knocking on the door. And Bridget answers the door. And Calvin is like, look. Now, Calvin is Vaughn's old boss that Bridget asked for a favor to get Vaughn a job that Vaughn quit. Follow me? So Calvin's like, look, Vaughn's got my keys. I needed to open the building or whatever. Bridget comes in and it's like, hey, where's his keys? Vaughn says, I don't have it. They have it back and forth. Somehow Vaughn comes into the room and they get into the fisticuffs. Poor Bridget, catching strays left and right, falls on the ground, and Vaughn is punching the crap out of Calvin to the point where I almost thought that Calvin was about to just drop DEAD, right? So Vaughn gets upset at Bridget and he storms out. Okay, so Calvin looked like he'd been pummeled to a pulp. He's like, man, I could have killed that boy. I'm like, could you have? Could you have? So we go back to Rashida's house and the son is like, hey, where's mom? Now keep in mind, the last time we saw Rashida, right? Rashida was like, he didn't open the door for me, right? So the last time we saw Rashida was in a car. So the son's like, hey, Dad, I need some money. The dad is like, is that how you greet me? Like, it's in the morning. What do you say? The son is like, good morning. And then the son is like, well, I need some money. And then if you remember, Rashida had told Pastor, like, you need to check up on our son because he's hanging out with some potheads. So, he's like, Pastor's like, what do you need money for? He's like, my computer broke, so, I need another one. And the pastor's like, well, you get an allowance. And he said, he gave some kind of excuse, right? So he's like, look, go ask your mom. That's what he's like, I have not seen mom. Now, when he said, I have not seen mom, that should have raised Pastor's antennas and should have been like, well, she didn't sleep here. So where is she? He could care less, okay? So Myron calls, and the way Myron sounds, it's like he's talking to like his lover. He's like, how's that arm? Okay, good, you okay? So remember what I say. Pastor tells Myron, I will call you when I get in the car. Myron says, okay. So now we're back to Geneva. Geneva is outside the school watching William give Maddie's mom some flowers. Because remember, Rashida thinks that William is cheating on her, right? Now you see William hand her some sunflowers and they hug. Now, does that look suspicious? Yes, it does. Does that mean something's going on? Probably not. No, because we don't know if somebody died. We don't know, right? We don't have full context. But at first glance, it does look bad. And Rashida's watching them because William don't know that Rashida's watching them. And Rashida's like, wow, right? So to Geneva. So to Geneva, that's confirmation that William is cheating, right? Meanwhile, Giovanna's on the phone with Geneva and is like, hey, tell me you don't want me to mess with Tiffany. And Geneva's like, I'm not going to tell you to do that. I can't tell you what to do. And Giovanna's like, okay, so you want me to wait around for you? And Geneva's like, I can't tell you to do that either. Hangs up on him, right? Because she's like, I'm tired of the BS. Yeah. She mad. Anyway. So I don't think she's mad. I think she's conflicted. She don't know what to do. So, that's much later. But anyway, whatever. I forgot. That's much later. Because what happened is, I forgot. Naomi gets out, right? She's like, they ruined my dress. Like, girl, you're about to face criminal charges. You concerned about somebody ruining your dress? I skipped ahead, y'all. Forgive me. I skipped ahead. So anyway, Javon takes Tiffany, Naomi, and Geneva, right? Yeah, back to Naomi's house. And Naomi goes inside, Geneva's outside, watching Javon and Tiffany exchange numbers. And she's like, Tiffany, we could use some help in here. First of all, why are you standing outside watching them like some kind of stalker? Why are you doing that for? Tiffany tells Javon, you can come inside and wait for your car. And Geneva's like, no, he can't. So that was like, dang, like he did all this favor for you and you being so rude. Anyway, whatever. So he decides to wait for his car outside. So Bridget meets them there and Bridget's like, why is Javon waiting outside? And Geneva basically makes an excuse like, because Naomi's house is a mess. Because remember, the cops came in and tore it all up, right? Now, again, I feel very bad for Bridget because Bridget is catching strays left and right. Bridget says to Naomi, hey girl, how you feeling? Naomi says, Bridget, that's a stupid question. How do you think I feel? I'm like, dang, like the girl can't even check on you. So Naomi's like, you don't even know what it's like to have nothing. You don't know what it's like to have a man check on you. Bridget looks so hurt. I was like, dang. But Tiffany kept it real with Naomi and was like, listen, Geneva, I need you to tell her what's up. And Geneva was like, look, what you did was criminal. Because Naomi's talking about suing Franklin. They're like, no, you don't need to be worried about suing anybody. You need to be worried about the clank clank. And then Geneva was like, you know, jail don't look good on you. Right? So they basically trying to keep it real with Naomi. They're like, look, you got bigger problems than suing this dude. That girl could have like died or something, whatever. So we go back to William and Anika, and I love the scene because William is so loving towards her. She's like, I didn't see mommy. And I don't know his real name, but I was like, this acting is good. Like, I almost believe like they're like their father and daughter, like a daddy and daughter. Like, I love that, right? And he also covered for Geneva because he didn't say, oh, well, mommy didn't come home last night. He was like, oh, mommy did come home, but you were snoring. Like he made it very loving. Anyway, so he's getting ready to take Anika to school, whatever like that, right? And then Javon calls William, and William's like, oh, how did it go? So William was just excited. Again, I think either there's going to be a plot twist at the end that William knows what's going on and is trying to keep, push Javon towards Tiffany to keep him away from, that would be great if it's a plot twist because I just feel like poor William is just catching it, Anyway, so what happened? So when they leave Naomi's house, Bridget and Tiffany are on their way to drop Tiffany off, and Bridget basically tells Tiffany what happened with Vaughn and Calvin. And Tiffany tells Bridget that Vaughn is lucky because Calvin is a black belt or something like that. So he really could have killed Vaughn, which lets us know that maybe Calvin is feeling Bridget. That's why he didn't do nothing to Vaughn. I don't know, whatever, right? So I didn't talk about this in the previous episodes, but Naomi is a little freak, okay? And so she got her dominatrix outfit and she's under stress and she needs a release, if you know what I'm saying. So she calls one of them SEX workers, right? One of them Diddy boys. That's what I'm going to call it. One of them Diddy boys, okay? And she's like, I need you here in like 20 minutes. Now, with the Diddy boy, he's already preoccupied with another chick, right? And he's like, no, I'll see you in an hour. So there's already a power dynamic between those two, trying to see who's boss, because Naomi's trying to regulate. He's like, I'll see you when I see you, but I'll be there. And Naomi asks him, now, you said that you could do whatever if I needed something done, you got me. How far are you willing to go? He's like, whatever it takes. So I'm like, Naomi, what are you up to? Like, what are you trying to do, right? So Naomi's like, I need to see you in like 20 minutes. He's like, yeah, all right, I'll be there in an hour, right? So keep in mind, we go back to Rashida's house. And the daughter's like, Dad, where's mom? Now, that's the second person that has asked about where Rashida is. And Pastor don't even seem to care an ounce. And Pastor's like, I told you, I don't know where she is. And the daughter's like, what do you mean you don't know where she is? She didn't sleep in the guest room. So again, that should have raised his antennas, and that should have made him been like, okay, so she wasn't in the bed and she's not in the guest room. Where the hell is she? But he was like, well, wherever she is, I'm sure she's fine. Like, do you even care about the lady? Do you really even care about the lady? So the daughter's like, are y'all getting a divorce? And he's like, no, we're not getting a divorce. And she's like, maybe y'all should. And then she goes, if you and mom get a divorce, I want to stay with you. So I'm like, dang, that's kind of That tells us how the daughter feels, right? So he's like, nobody's getting a divorce, and she's like, well, at least y'all will both be happy. So the daughter's like, if y'all get a divorce, I'm cool with it because y'all both a mess, right? So he comes out and he sees Rashida in the car. So Rashida spent the night in the car. And he's like, Rashida, what are you doing, Rashida? Spending the night in the car is crazy. And she's like, you didn't open the door for me. And he's like, what do you mean? It's electric. You just press a button. And she's like, it's more than just the door. It's about this entire marriage. You don't care for me. You don't love me. And so Pastor's looking around, and he's like, you don't even see me. You're worried about what all the neighbors are thinking. You don't even see me right now. So great acting, right? So let me back up a little bit because we're about to end the scene. Let me back up a little bit. So when the Diddy worker, because I forgot to talk about this part, when the Diddy worker gets over to Naomi's house, her place is still a mess. And he's like, yo, what happened? Who did this? She's like, my ex did this. He's like, wow, I'm so sorry. And she's like, well, I need you to do something about this for me. And she's like, do you like money? And he's like, yeah. And whatever, I like money and I like whatever I got to do to get money. So basically Naomi wants him deleted. Okay, Naomi wants her ex deleted. So he's like, it ain't gonna be cheap. She's like, look around. Does it look like, what did she say? Look around. Does it look like I don't got it? So this is getting a little dark, Naomi. I know you mad, but getting the dude deleted, that's on a different level. I don't like where this is going. Go key his car or something. I don't know. You already done burned up his wife, like now you want him gone. That's a bit too much for me. So yeah, so they about to play and whatever. Oh, this is what I forgot too. Rashida's kids see Rashida sleeping in the car. She yells at the kids because she's like, y'all need to be going to school. And they're like, Mom, are you okay? You've been sleeping in the car? So that scene, the kids are like, okay, something definitely is wrong. Something's going on, So the kids definitely know something's going on with Mom. Something don't seem right. But Rashida don't want to talk about it. She yells at them to go to school. So anyway, coming back. So the pastor's like, he's looking around. She's like, you care what the neighbors think. You care what the neighbors think. You don't even see me in this moment. I'm over here pouring my heart out to you, telling you, you don't care for me. And you just looking around like, is anybody looking? Is anybody looking? Hello? She talking to you. So then his phone's ringing. And she's like, go ahead. Everybody gets your attention but me. Answer it. So she grabs the phone from him, picks up the phone, and Myron goes, hello, babe. Are you in the car? Can you talk? Say what now? We kind of knew something was up, but say what now? Now, keep in mind, he said, babe, are you in the car? Can you talk? Rewind earlier. Pastor said, I'll call you when I get in the car. That's how it ends, y'all. That's how it ends. Whew. All right. I got to watch episode 6. It's getting good. All right. See ya in the next review.